all. Here I, Dr. Shamsher Singh, again join with you all with a very inventive and useful topic, that is the need of all the researchers which are doing research, that what are the basic aspects of research protocol and essential components. So dear all, you know well that the time which is going on, that everybody is looking for some solutions. So solutions mean if there will be any problem, we will look for any kind of solution. So that means it is important that we should have some problem. So many times the student asks the question that why we do research, why we design research. So how we can design research, which will be a more better protocol, well, how we can set a useful protocol to solve any problem. So that's why I comes with a very useful topic, which is a basic about the research protocol and what will be the essential components. So we will go with the matter. This is the content of the presentation. So we will go about the research. So as you know that research, there are number of definitions. Research mean you will search again and again to solve any problem. You will search anything, or you will search more and more literature so that you will be aware about your problem. So here you can see that research is a systematic collection, analysis, interpretation of data to answer any question or to solve any problem. So this means the research initiate with the collection of data. So that means from where the data will come, that I will discuss in the again with the next lecture, that what is data, how we collect the data, what are the different techniques of data collection. So just in this definition you can understand that it is very important that we should have some data, so that we should collect the data and then we analyze the data and then we interpret the data. So this is the basic definition. So again I will come to the types of the research. There are four type of the basic research, that are more than that also, but first one is a basic research, applied research, action research, and evaluation research. So dear friends, what is basic research? As the name indicate, that what we do in the colleges, what we do in the universities, that if we want to look the effect of any drug, suppose if you are having any drug which is a anti-epileptic like phenytoin, phenobarbital, carbamazepine, and so many other, and suppose any researcher want to look a suitable and safe drug for epilepsy, that they might target some of the herbal drug, and they are looking only for the better actions of the drug. That means this is the basic thing which they want to clear. This is the basic. Next is called as applied research. As applied word indicate, there will be some applications of the research. So in which case and why applied research is required? The applied research is required where the action is required very fast. That means suppose if we look for any problem which in the future can cause death of number of population, likely if we see, I will give you example of COVID immediately infected number of countries. So that means there should be any type of the, you can say, action. So that means we should look for the treatment of that particular disease. There is called another is evaluation research. That means where we evaluate some of the things. Suppose if we will say that if a patient will take any hypolipidemic agent, that means it will reduce the level of lipid, but along with that if the patient do exercise, it can produce add-on effect. So that means the four components which are the essential component of the research, which are very important. So these are the basic questions, that what is study about, that means what you want to do, why is this study being made, where will this study be carried out, what type of data is required. So these are all the questions that mean whenever you go for designing any new study, these questions will be there, that why you are designing new study, where you will carry out the study, and what type of data is required. Suppose for the preclinical analysis, we take a data from the animals, and for the clinical studies or for the case studies, we collect some cases from the hospitals. So that means there is a need of data. So where the data can be found, so that means from where you will get the data. So for what periods of time will this study be include? So these are all the questions which are related to the research design. Now coming to the next research design, that means there are two type of study. One is called as a quantitative, another is called as a qualitative. So it is a very simple mean that where we are looking for the quantitative things, that means if we are looking for the, you can say weight of any substances, you can say weight of any human bodies, that means which can be quantified. Another are the qualitative, that means these are the characters. Suppose you are comparing the white pupils with the black one. Suppose you are comparing the pupils who are having a, you can say brown hairs, and you are comparing with the black hairs. So that means there should be a qualitative analysis. Likely in case of some, you can give pharmaceutical chemistry, their people do some quantitative test and they do some qualitative test. So under quantitative test, the three things are important: experimental studies, survey studies, and correlation studies. As experimental study directly indicate that if any researcher want to perform experiment on animal, experiment on human being, or any other type of the experiment. Next is called as a survey studies. Suppose you are performing a survey, so you want to confirm the total population of any particular area. So this is the simple way that how you can do survey. Suppose if you look for any problem that in any area one person or the number of persons they are suffering from a disease which is a waterborne disease, so that you can understand in a particular area that water is infected by someone, by some pollution or by some other things. Next are called as a correlation type of studies. No, whenever you will correlate some of the things, that means one parameter will be correlated with the other. And another are called as a qualitative case studies, historical studies, and ethnographies. So that means these are both quantitative and the qualitative mean of the study that a researcher do. So why we design a protocol? So this is a very important question, because I will explain more and more about this thing in the next slides, that why we design a protocol. First thing, to clarify a question, because many a time whenever we say that why you are doing study, student says sir, we don't know. So that means you should know that is there any problem you are doing study, is there any gap you are doing study, is there anything which you want to clear, that's why you are doing research studies, or if you want to get some recent information. So that's why many of the PG as well as PhD students, they do the study. So first thing is the question, that mean any problem. Second thing, if you have any problem, then a student will go for literature survey. So that mean we can get a lot of knowledge that will be related to that particular problem for which we are designing a protocol. And the third thing is called as hypothesis. And hypothesis mean any statement. Suppose if you will say that now the percentage of the population which are obese or hypertensive is X, and you can imagine that in the coming 10 to 15 years it could be double. So this is your hypothesis, this is your statement. So how you are generating a hypothesis, and how you confirm your hypothesis with some objectives. So that is important part. That means without objectives you cannot clear your hypothetical statement. Now for the hypothesis, we do some experimental study design, which can be preclinical design or which can be a clinical design, because in the next lectures I will discuss with you that how we conduct preclinical, what the number of animals should be there, what the number of groups should be there. So next is called as ethical approval. So that means whenever we want to do study on animal or on some humans, there is a need of ethical approval. So we apply for the ethical approval, and next part is called to apply for funding. So this is important part, that if your work is novel, if you are doing a new thing, that means you should apply for a funding in the DST, DBT, ICMR, CSIR, DRDO. So that means so many agencies are there which provide fund, so that if you conduct this type of study, might be this would be useful for the Indian populations. So that's why funding is an important part by which you can get money and you can do lot of things and you can prove your hypothesis. So to have some guideline and tool for the research. So that means whenever we do research on animal or some human being, for the animal there are separate guideline which is called as a CPCHCA, that means Committee for the Purpose of Control and Supervision of Experiment on the Animal. Likely there is some committee for the human which is called as Ethical Committee, or which gives some guideline like Declaration of Helsinki Code, or they also take the consent form from the patient side. So this is important, that why we do protocol and what are the component of the protocol. Now this is the important part, that how you will judge it is a well designed protocol or not, because it is important. So should goal oriented, that means what the research or which type of research you are going, that should be goal oriented. So goal directly you can see here, that if you will focus your research, that it should be at a particular target level. Suppose many times students say, sir, we are doing research on this area, so how we should write some review article. So that means you should write the review article which will be around your research area, so that they can support to your research also. So this is important, that there should be a goal oriented. And second thing very important, to check the feasibility, either the research which you have designed is feasible at your institutional level or not. If it is not feasible, then you look for some of the area or the location where you can prove your objective, or you can prove your hypothesis. So does it provide enough detail? It is important. Suppose if your research is not providing enough detail, that means it is not being more useful. So that means that your research must provide some more detail or some more molecular mechanism that can be useful for the future generations. Last is called as outcome of your research. So that means whenever your research will be goal oriented, whenever your research will be focused at a particular point, whenever your research will be providing enough detail about anything, ultimately we can say the outcome of your research will be more beneficial. So dear friends, I have discussed with you that what is research, what are the type of research, why we do research, and what are the essential components of the research. So in my next lecture, you will enjoy further with some other type of the important, you can say, topics which are related to the research. So you must like, watch and share. So thank you very much.